A new study out says diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at businesses and post-secondaries can lead to even more bigotry and prejudice. The report released by the Aristotle Foundation for Public Policy casts serious doubt on the effectiveness on the training, which is supposed to address systemic racism. Now, to talk about this in more detail is the author of the study, social scientist David Millard Haskell from Wilfred Laurier University. He joins us now from Waterloo, Ontario. So, David, I'm guessing this was quite the eye-opener for you, which is a possible reason why you called your study Reality Check?
It was actually a surprise because this information is out there. And what I did, I didn't create anything new. I just simply gathered up the studies that already exist, and then I've just packaged it. And I said, this is what DEI really, what we know about DEI, what has been proven about DEI. What's curious to me is why this has been ignored. And that's why we call it a reality check.
Now, supporters of DEI training praise its efficacy, but you say that wasn't really the case from your research?
No, not at all. What's incredibly surprising is that when DEI consultants and the people in the office say this stuff works, they actually don't have any proof of that. What I was able to determine by looking at numerous meta-analyses. Now, meta-analyses are when they take hundreds of studies and they statistically analyze it in aggregate. What it found was there's no empirical proof that it does anything good, but it does show there are certain studies that show it can do harm.
Well, let's talk about some of that harm right now. Your report highlighted several key concerns. What were they?
A few things that I think many people should be concerned about. Keep in mind, this stuff is often mandatory in many businesses, and it's across our K to 12 and even in our universities. It's been shown to actually increase bigotry, increase prejudice, and in particular against the majority population, whites.
Wow. Now, many would argue that there's a lot of value in diversity in society, but you caution against the divisive nature of DEI instruction. Can you explain?
What I'd say, Hal, is that we actually were really doing great in terms of our decrease in racist attitudes across Canada and the US. If you look from the 1960s into the early 2000s, even into the mid 2000s, every sociological indicator was showing that we were going down in racist attitudes. What were we doing? We were simply saying, judge people on the content of their character. We had a method that was working that said, treat everybody equally. Now, DEI actually reverses that and says, we should actually, when it's necessary, discriminate. And that's not a recipe for success. And I think that that's something we need to abandon and return to the ways that we're working.
David Millard Haskell from Wilfred Laurier University and author of the DEI study Reality Check. Thanks for joining us today from Waterloo, Ontario.